rolling.
Watching television is harmful to children and should be banned because it affects a child's health and habits negatively.
It is common sense that TV should not be banned because these days there are a lot of shows that are inappropriate, true, but there's also a lot of shows that teaches educating stuff like Sid the Science Kid, where kids can learn science, and Dora, where kids can also learn Spanish, and Word World, where kids can learn like vocabulary and stuff. Also, documentary. There's a lot of documentary on like channels like PBS and stuff, and people say that parents tell kids to read books instead of watching TV, but kids find books boring because it's just letters and pages. But TV, if kids find learning stuff from TV more like interesting because it's more like interactive and stuff.
TV is very addicting. When kids come home from school, what are they thinking about? They're thinking about watching TV. How many hours a day do kids spend watching TV? Over 4 hours for many kids in America. All that 4 hours can be put in use for reading books, studying, and even going outside and exercising.
Nowadays, it's not TV, it's about computers. Kids go on social networks like Facebook more than TV. And like last century it was, I admit that it's TV, but like this century, it's like mostly computers. And kids, when you ask them like, what's the most time you spend on like an electronic device, they will most likely say computers.
So because computers are the thing nowadays, TV is just almost useless, and we should prohibit TV from use then, because it's computers nowadays.
Okay, Chris, let me ask you a question.
Yes.
When you watched City Hunter, did you watch it on computer or on television?
I watched it on computer.
That's why I think banning televisions are useless, because you can still watch dramas on computers, and it's still the same thing.
Yes, I acknowledge that computers are very useful these days. However, you guys are saying that watching TV is useless, so they shouldn't be banned. Since TV is useless, will it affect anything if it's banned or not, rather than just having a TV in our house, in any house, and wasting money by having that TV there? How much money people spend on buying TVs, and at the end they're not using it. TV should just be prohibited to kids 21 and younger.
But often little children who are like 5, 6, and they don't know how to use computers, so they're not gonna be able to like watch Sesame Street or anything online. They need a TV to watch it. Educational shows. Yeah.
So, you know how you said about children not being able to focus on books or learning from books because they're boring? But just because TV is interactive and may attract more attention and help the child learn more, books later in life, that child is only going to have to depend on books. Like in colleges, they're going to have to ask the children to have resources to books. And yes, internet, all that, but then books are still important. So I think a child should take advantage of that and start at the very root of the problem and try to use books more often. And if they can't learn or they think it's boring, books are boring, they should be taught the importance of books and have like maybe a tutor or maybe a parent help them read.
If you don't have a rebuttal, you should bring up a new argument.
TVs can educate you like news and like internet it has more inappropriate stuff than TV, and TV like they have limits of like what they do.
But on the internet, you can also like block websites that are appropriate for children.
But then they always pop up later on.
You don't have to always use internet. There's also radio and newspapers. So just because there's news on TV doesn't mean you always have to watch TV because of it. You could also like, go on the radio, which I'm sure you can't find anything inappropriate other than just speaking.
Well, why spend money on stuff like radio or newspaper if you already have a TV to watch news on? And like Jacqueline said, like you could block websites on the internet, but you can also block some channels on the TV. But like parents can call their TV company and say like what channels they don't want to like have watched.
Are you saying that TVs are more expensive than radios? I mean, are cheaper than radios because old radios, the ones that still work, are cheaper, and you don't always have to go to radio. You can also use newspapers, which are barely $1.
But why use something that you have to purchase every week when you already have a TV, and a TV has constant updates, while newspapers, most of them have updates weekly.
TV is yes, it provides news, and yes, it does updates of however, if TV is banned and prohibited, there won't be a use for buying TV, saving a lot of money, so that future households will not buy TV, and they will use radios, they'll use newspapers, and newspapers are actually updated every day, and there's many different kinds of newspapers.
But if TV was banned, then advertisement will lose money, and channels wouldn't be necessary, so they will lose a lot of money too.
Those advertising companies, they can also make money if people switch to the radio because there's always advertisements on the radio.
But on the radio, you can't see the results.
On the radio, they explain the results clearly also, and TV also brings, it's unhealthy for you to look at. It doesn't destroy, but it harms your eyesight and causes many people to wear spectacles.
Well, it's true that people lose their eyesight from watching TV too much, but most of the time eyesight problems are from genetics, and also it's the same for computers because like now like kids watch TV shows on the computer, so it's practically the same thing. And and also about the advertisement thing, true, but like there's also people who earn a living from assembling and creating TVs. So, yeah.
The eyesight problems with the TVs and the computers, if both of the things give you eyesight problems, which one would you prefer? Something expensive that gives you eyesight problems or something cheap that gives you eyesight problems? Then computers are generally cheaper than
If both of them make your, if both computer and TV harm your eyesight, then why don't you ban computers? Why do you only ban TV then?
Oh, we're not saying that. Our argument is not saying that computers are bad for you. We have never implied that computers are bad for you, and we have never compared computers to television. We're trying to express our thoughts about how TV should be banned, and also TVs. Many kids watch TVs these days. Even if computers are in the era of like many kids are using computers, many kids are watching TV also, and after school, when kids go home, they have homework to do, right? Teachers assign them homework, and what do? They put aside their homework, they watch TV, and when they finish watching TV, when they finish having all their fun, they'll realize, oh, we have homework to do, and they'll do it last minute and do it poorly.
But parents don't allow that. They have certain rules in each house.
And that goes with TV addiction. There are many parents that cannot control their children these days, and many parents these days have jobs. So both parents have jobs. They leave their house. There might be a babysitter, but she won't be nearly as controlled as a parent is, and that will lead to the children being completely addicted and absorbed into watching TV every day.
Okay, do you really believe that if people ban television, do you think students will just do their homework? I think they'll go on the computer, even though TVs are banned, because students really don't like homework. And then in the computer, there's a lot of addictive stuff.
We acknowledge that the TV and the computer they can be equally addicting, but computer you still have a use for it. For example, if you're a student, you need to print out papers, type of stuff, do research, and the educational shows and news that appear on the TV you can get from anywhere else, like books or newspapers. So basically, TV you don't really need it. I mean, it can be banned. You're not gonna.
Can I say something? Can I just say something to everyone? Wait, we're not arguing about computer versus TV. That's what we're doing right now. So I hope, yeah, we're saying that. Oh, you guys are saying that. Oh, computers are just as bad as TV, but that's not the argument. So. And we don't want to look bad by just abandoning the topic.
Can we restart?
What?
That was kind of really offset though, because